Well, for those who've been around for a while will know, we just bought this, we fixed it up. There's a whole backstory to it, but it's sick. It's got a sickness to it. Yesterday when I was bringing all that firewood up here, it started sputtering and coughing and dying. I was running it on idle a lot. I'd let it sit on idle, and the reason I let the lawnmower sit in idle is so I don't have to keep turning it on, turning it off, because the hardest part of, or the most wear that an engine gets, is when you start it. So if you just let it run, the engine wear isn't near as bad. But that being said, it's also hard on the ignition coils. The ignition coil, which I'll get to in just a second, I need to check my water here. The ignition coil is what the spark plug is, spark plug wire is, and it sits up against the magnet on the flywheel. So those go bad pretty regularly, and it's pretty common that they go bad. Maybe in the old days you might remember points, magnetos and ignition coils, or whatever you want to call them, replaced points. And points always went bad on those things. I remember me and Grandpa always replacing points on lawnmowers. So what it is as these heat up, either they'll go out completely and just stop working, or they'll start to heat up and they'll stop working correctly. And those are harder to diagnose. It'll start, the engine start running real lean, and you're smelling unburned fuel, and it's choking you. Actually breathing, it's choking you. So these going out. So the struggle I had with this is, it appears that both of them are going out at the same time. That is very odd. It can't happen. And my guess is one was going out, I don't know, and the other one started going out. It's just over time, maybe I didn't notice that one was already bad, and then when the second one started going bad, it just magnified the issue to it was very noticeable. So I ordered a couple more. They'll be here in, I don't know, 5 or 6 days. But I wanted to make sure that these are bad. It could be the valves, and this is an older engine, so you can't just adjust the valves. You got to actually replace them and grind them down. So, but you can test these to see if that's what it is. So I tested it. Now what you do is you take your meter here and you take it down to 200 ohms. And you go, you sand this off, or you find a smooth, clear spot. And you can, it doesn't matter which wire, positive or negative, and you put it on that clear spot. And you look for the first one. Well, you can actually test it. Let's see if you can see this. So you can test your own meter. So it says 0, so no resistance. You test this. It should be 0.2 to 0.7. We're not getting anything. Nothing. That is completely bad. So your primary, what is that, coil or spindle or whatever it is probably burned out. So that means the secondary is the only thing working, and it's not providing enough fire to actually consistently spark. So the way you test that is you go from here. Oh, you got to go to 20K. So we changed it. And let's see if you can see this. This will read 8.7, which is in spec. Well, it depends on which technical manual you'll go to, but typically most people will consider this in spec. And if it's out of spec, it's not by much. So that means the second spindle or coil or whatever it is, I forget what it's called, is working. The first one is not. So it's just not getting enough juice. So that kind of makes sense. Thing is they're both bad. Both of them are reading exactly the same. So we'll replace these and hopefully that'll fix it. If not, then we got more digging into. I hope it's not the valves. That would be terrible. But I checked the flywheel magnet. If you can stick a screwdriver to the flywheel magnet and it sticks, then it's okay. But that brings me to the topic of today's video, which is we're going to make some significant changes on what we're doing here. As you know, I have been running a lawnmower repair hobby business, and we did pretty good for the first season. We put out some posts on Facebook Marketplace, not Facebook, but I'm sorry, the Facebook groups for the area, and we instantly started getting tons of business. I mean, I was constantly busy, and I'm still getting business here and there. Just worked on a mower deck, replaced the belt just a minute ago, right before I hit the record button. Mowed the whole yard with his lawnmower. he asked me to, so don't think I am abusing it. He wanted me to test it and make sure it ran well. But you can see here the belt, his old belt broke here. So for the wintertime, our goal was to buy cheap lawnmowers that don't run or don't run well, fix them up, flip them, sell them for a profit. But I'm a bit concerned about this. I've been concerned about it. The beast is what had me most concerned. And I'm going to give you a little backstory on this. I'm sure you've heard it, but there's more to it now. We sold the beast, got the price we wanted out of it. And the guy immediately, within 15 minutes, said, the belt, what was it? The belt broke. Yeah, the belt broke. So, I thought, well, that's on me. So I went and picked the motor back up, fixed it, replaced the belt. A week later, took it back to him because that's how long it took to get the belt. And I don't know, maybe 2 days later, he called back and said, the deck is uneven. So I said, do you want your money back? And he said, yeah, he wanted his money back. What he did, he used it as a brush hog. I mean, his whole back field, mowed the whole thing. Well, when I went to pick it up, it was missing 2 cotter pins, and that's all I had to do. It's like 10 cents is what I had to put into it to get it up and running. So I've used the beast quite a bit since we decided we were going to keep it. So I've used it, not quite a bit, but I've changed the oil and spark plugs and air filter, and I've ran it around in the mud, and yesterday I hauled for some firewood. So I'm using it more than I use the John Deere. And I'm having fun with it, and then all of a sudden, these go out. So now I'm thinking, okay, the mower that has been absolutely the best one that we have flipped. I mean, this one is just, there's very little wrong with it other than it's old. That's its problem, it's old. It runs great, it cuts great, the engine's strong, but there's just components, maintenance items that are gonna go out. So here's another $25 that we would have to invest in this mower to flip it. Plus another warranty, another bad review for the business. So I'm really trying to figure out what to do. And I've been talking about this a lot, not sure how to handle this. And I don't think it's smart to flip lawnmowers, to go out and buy them and flip them and sell them. I've learned my lesson. I mean, we've made money. We haven't lost money off any of it. And I don't think we've gotten a bad reputation off any of it. But it can happen. As good as the beast runs, as solid of an engine it is, it doesn't smoke, it keeps coming up with a problem that could cause us an issue for the business. To me, it's just a maintenance item, no big deal. To a guy who just bought it, he's going to be upset about it. So, we've talked about as is and all that, and I got another mower down there. I've taken it off the market, and then somebody just gave me a push mower. So I think that what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to buy him anymore. If someone gives me a mower, so like that push mower, someone gave me the push mower, I might sell it just on Facebook Marketplace. I won't advertise it for anybody in town. And that way, whoever buys it may be from out of town, hopefully would be from out of town, and wouldn't know that we have run this hobby business, and it wouldn't hurt my reputation in the town that I'm trying to develop a hobby business. because I definitely don't want to ruin my reputation. I want everybody to think I'm working very hard to make them happy. You know, the more I'm working on, he's called me over twice to take a look at a different thing here or there. Nothing serious, and I didn't charge him either time. I'm hoping that kind of sticks with him. You know, he'll run out, he'll help us out, and he's not going to nickel and dime us to death. You know, if it's something simple, takes him 10 minutes, he's not going to charge us. But on the other hand, when there's something serious, you know, he jumps right on it, doesn't charge a lot, and gets it right back to us. I'm going to call him up as soon as I'm done with this video and let him know it's finished. What I want to do is I want everything to cool off, is why I'm waiting. I want the belt to cool off, the engine, the pulleys, everything. And I'm going to start it back up to make sure that belt stays. So, I think the change is that we're just not going to buy lawnmowers. It's kind of disappointing because we were making money at it, and it's a good wintertime revenue source to make some money during the winter, because we're just not getting a lot of business in the winter or fall. But in the summertime or springtime and summertime, we're just non-stop busy. So maybe what it is I'm sure people will give us mowers throughout the summertime season. Just give them to us. You can keep it. I don't want it. We can fix them up over the winter and sell them. Again, not in the groups, not in the local groups, just on Facebook Marketplace. And the other issue is, you know, we put a pretty hefty price tag on this one. You know, we bought it for $100. We put another, you know, a lot more money into it. So you got to ask for a lot of money. Nobody wants to spend that kind of money. Not around here. So if you're starting to warranty items, even if you drop the price, no more, I'm thinking about dropping the price. So if you have to warranty it, or somebody calls you back and says, hey, you know, the belt broke after 15 minutes, or the ignition coils went out after a month, you're not going to make any money. We're not going to be able to make anything off that other mower down the hill already. And then so you're going to eventually have to start investing more money than what you got out of it. So that's the big news. So I hope I can inspire you to test things, to see how it works before you give up on it, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.